Hey, what's up, guys? Daniel here. I have been the owner of a human brain for about 30 years now. So I thought I'd give you guys the rundown on some of the specs, the pros, the cons, and the features of brain ownership before you run off and get one for yourself. This is my brain. Well, it's not exactly my brain considering I already have mine installed, but you get the idea. Let's talk design. What you get looks kind of like a big wet garlic knot. Not a lot of fun to look at, but once installed, you rarely see it again, so it doesn't really matter. Plus, the compact nature of it is a nice feature. It fits right here behind your human eyes review coming soon, so that brings my score for design up to about a 4 out of 10. So the hardware is mainly powered by glucose and oxygen, and it requires constant watering. But luckily, the operating system is intuitive. So my brain usually tells me what it needs when it needs it. The OS is super adaptive as well, okay? So let's just say you got a brand new brain installed in Korea, for example. After a few years of just existing, you will develop fine motor skills to pilot your body, of course, but also understand the Korean language and become a fan of BTS. You don't even have to do anything. Your brain's operating system just does that based on your surroundings. Speaking of automatic, this thing updates itself constantly. It's all software, so there's no need for a screwdriver or anything, but you are required to go offline every single night to install those updates. And those updates take on average 7 to 8 hours a night to complete, which means out of a 24-hour day, you only get 16 hours to play with your brain. That is 66% functionality, barely a passing grade. However, with those 16 hours you do get, the performance is pretty great. Graphics-wise, I get pretty good renderings out of my brain, especially when paired with my human eyes. With that, I can tell what's a cat, what's a tree, I've got object permanence, I can see colors, and not everybody gets that feature, so that's pretty sick. Battery life on this thing is insane. Now, you can get about 16 to 20-ish hours of charge out of this thing before things start getting wonky, but on the whole, you can squeeze about 80 years of juice out of it. Now into the nitty-gritty of it all, the pros and the cons. All right, let's start with the main pro, which is that it pretty much does as advertised, okay? You can think with it, you can plan things ahead with it, you can ruminate on your past, you can simulate violence in your mind without having to do a violence in real life. It can do a lot. Another pro is that the brain is sort of a hybrid. It can extend itself into tools like vehicles. For example, with the use of my human arms, review to come, I can connect to my car and go wherever I please. Kind of like walking with my human legs. Review in the description. I'm a cyborg. A couple of cons are that it requires a lot of upkeep. If you don't go with the factory recommendations, your brain can get really distracted, or horny, or depressed, or all three at once. It's horn-presty. But with modifications like caffeine and repressed memories of my father screaming at me to be a better man, my brain gets that extra boost it needs to push into high gear and get things done. Brains can also do funny things like desire foods that are bad for you, crave affection from people who don't like you, and even contemplate death. My brain doesn't do that so much. What my brain does is it thinks farts are hilarious. Every brain is built differently though, so your mileage may vary. In summary, I guess I'd say that I like the human brain. It's got its flaws, sure, but at this point, if I try to uninstall it, I'd probably die. Anyways, I'm gonna go use my human hands to fix my dyshorn. Subscribe for a video on that, and in the meantime, I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace. And now for the sketch after the sketch, sponsored by Squarespace. Deliver me! Cheese! No, bees. I'll train my buzzy friends to deliver anything. Food, drinks, catalytic converters. I'm not sure if what you're doing is legal, but you can start building your website today with Squarespace. Oh my God. Using Squarespace's easy-to-use drag-and-drop tools, you could have your website launched in minutes. You can create a members-only area to monetize your business. They'll be my worker bees, and I shall be their queen. Plus, they give you access to analytics and data that can help you better understand your audience. They'll work around the clock. Unless they threaten to unionize. You've heard this all before, but dude, just build your website today. Get it over with. Head to squarespace.com/Daniel Thrasher for your free trial. And when you are ready to launch, use code Daniel Thrasher for 10% off your first purchase. Own your ideas, own your voice on the internet today with Squarespace. Am I supposed to pay them in honey, or is that like an insult? Merch!